Something that kills you or somebody around you.
Falling from a building.
Skydiving without a parachute.
Maybe a stampede. Untied shoes.
Monkeys.
Ninjas for sure.
The mafia.
Bad takeout.
Somebody with a samurai sword trying to chop somebody's head off.
A bobcat.
Oh, a bad dad joke is very deadly.
So what do you consider lethal? For most, it's either the dangers they sense immediately around them, or it's based on an experience they had. We asked random people what they thought was the #1 killer of teens in America. Here's what they said.
I want to say drunk driving.
Drunk driving.
Yeah.
Sex, drugs, and alcohol.
Possibly drug overdose?
Drugs.
Cigarettes?
Drinking.
Online dating.
The #1 killer of teens in America is something we've all participated in: reckless and distracted driving. We have all seen someone send a text while driving, post a picture, dig through a bag, or turn to talk to friends, all while supposedly keeping their eyes on the road. So, for the next few minutes, we want to show you the lives that have been shattered by reckless and distracted driving, and the simple things that you can do to avoid becoming a statistic.
Nuba police say they now have a prime example of the damage distracted driving can cause.
A Central California teenager is behind bars after a car crash that killed her younger sister.
Live on Instagram while driving, her younger sister was killed. The crash was all recorded, and this is a distracted driver. There were 2 minors in the car, and they were not wearing seatbelts.
A light vigil to remember Christine Martinez, who was just 17 years old when she was killed in that crash.
The 18-year-old Summer Solomon was behind the wheel when she lost control, the car rolling 3 times. Martinez ejected from the vehicle. Through tears and candlelight, they gathered, united in their grief, mourning a young life cut short.
She was always so happy on the field.
Loved ones say the losses are devastating.
So what is reckless and distracted driving? Distracted driving is any time you have to take your eyes off the road, your hands off the wheel, or when your mind is not focused on driving for any reason. And reckless driving is speeding and acting like a total fool. Now for the simple part. How do we keep from needlessly dying in a car crash? That's easy. First, tell your friends that as much as you love them, to sit down and be quiet. Second, realize that you decrease the risk of crashing your car by 2,000% when you don't text and drive. Third, come to terms with the fact that you might have to wake up a few minutes earlier so you're not speeding or running stop signs while putting your life and the life of others at risk. Still not exactly sure what reckless and distracted driving is? Let's see what our resident experts have to say.
Oh, it's on?
Oh, hi, my name is Lex.
Oh, and I'm Hayden. And we're here to help you save lives.
Like mine.
Because distracted driving is deadly.
Deadlier than my grandpa's farts.
Gross, dude. Ew.
And gross like all you kissy-faced kids that drive. You boys are like, hey, baby, give me a kiss. And you girls like, oh, you're so hot, I'll give you all the kisses in the world. Besides being nasty, you're not looking at the road.
And what's with you eating in the car? You have drink in one hand and a burger in the other. And think you could steal with your knees? You ain't Spider-Man. Do you really want your last meal to be off the dollar menu?
And last but not least, your phones. It doesn't matter if you're driving hands-free, but when you're on it, you're driving brain-free. And taking pictures of yourself and texting your friends, that's stupid.
Lex. No name calling. No matter how lame driving with your phone in the car is.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Well, a lot of you should be sorry. Seriously, you gotta cut the distracted driving. Put 2 hands on the wheel, eyes on the road, and your brain focused. The reason this is so important to me is that I recently lost my 19-year-old cousin, Christian, in a crash that was completely avoidable. And I miss him every day.
Let's see what's so distracting.
What?
Texting.
Texting?
I like to dance when I drive. Car dancing. Phones.
trying to find the right song.
Reading a book, food.
I get distracted by directions a lot.
Talking to friends.
Doing makeup.
I admittedly have changed and drove before. I tried to write a paper on my laptop while I was driving.
What we often hear from victims is that they never thought it would happen to them. That their son, daughter, friend, or classmate could be involved in a fatal car crash. And no one could imagine causing such a tragic event.
Bree was a really close friend, and I cannot describe how meaningful her friendship was towards me.
She definitely had this spirit of, I want to explore, I want to experience, but I think that she had that sense of adventure that some kids have, but they won't let it out.
Just one that always had it together. One of those kids that really just makes everything more fun, brighter.
Brianna was very popular and very loved on this campus, and that was obvious during that week after her passing.
I don't think anybody would have thought that she was gonna pass away that night. So we were at the game. Bree was just bouncing around the way she was, just like a little bubbly person. Bree would always be like, look it, we can have sober fun. We're not drinking or smoking or doing anything bad. And I was like, yeah. And so like we just like, we're getting to the car and someone was gonna lap in our back seat.
I saw that a couple of my friends didn't have rides because the car was packed down, and I offered them a ride.
Me and a couple other friends in the car, we all decided that we would like to race one of our friends.
One of my friends said we should race.
Well, run them. Let's race. Line them up. So Bree's like, you don't want to test my focus. Like, you know, like my car may be small, but it mobs.
After the 3 honks, we took off racing at high speeds.
We're going really, really, really fast. And Cedric's even faster. So Cedric's already like far gone. Like by the time the race is over, he's already at the stop sign, like probably waiting a good 5 seconds.
And as I came to the end, I stopped at the stop sign, and she never stopped, and then lost control and crashed into the pole.
The conversation I had with her the week before, and she was telling me, she's like, I feel so happy right now. She was texting me, she's like, I feel so happy, like despite all the turmoil and everything that goes on in our lives and everything, she's like, life is just so good, like there's just so much to see and it's so beautiful. And
it's so eerie, some of the things that she has said that they retweet now, like, you know, hold the people you love the most. I have a picture of her on my desk, and you know, it's a nice reminder of the life that was in her. There was a lot of life in her.
And I think that's the hardest part, is just to see like the way it affects everybody else.
And I just would want everybody to realize what a big impact it is when someone's life is taken or if someone's hurt. It has a really big impact on not only their family but the loved ones around them.
I think about it every day. Like I could have made a better decision. I never have to go through this.
You've got all the time in the world. Take your time. Focus on your driving. Be responsible. Get to where you're going. That's the whole point, isn't it?
It's a split second. It really is. It's that split second, and how it devastates everything and just changes. And how young kids, young teenagers, we think that we're invincible. And we forget that how life is so fleeting.
Driving a car is not a simple thing. It's a very serious thing. It can be, unfortunately, a very tragic thing if we're not responsible when we drive.
It still hurts, and it's not gonna go away. Like, it's really not. Like, it'll get easier and we'll like learn how to deal with it, but it's always gonna be there.
So we've heard the compelling stories, we've seen the stats, and you understand the simplicity of the message. What is most lethal to young people is making poor choices in a car. The good news is that we have the power to change and stop the #1 killer of young people in America. When you are behind the wheel, focus on the road ahead of you, and make good decisions each and every ride. If you're a passenger, don't distract the driver, and everyone gets to where they're going safely. Finally, visit whatslethal.com. Together, we can save lives.